Yeah, Sandringham probably the hottest team in the league right now. I think after the weekend they've won 13 or 14, I think, in the last stretch. So, look, I thought we played another game where we, had patches where we looked really, really good, and then other patches where we're sort of scratching our heads, going, "What's going on out there?" So, yeah, it's tough, and I guess it's just the reality of the group in terms of we're still really young and we're still trying to get to that stage where we can play consistently across 4 quarters, and particularly with Kayla missing at the moment, we are a very, very young team with only one player over the age of 30, and I think only 3 players above the age of 20, or 4 players above the age of 20. So, that makes it tough. But we're still, progressing and playing some really good basketball, and we're playing some. I guess in this half of the season we played a lot of the top teams, and we've made each of them work for their wins. So I guess that's the main thing that we've been trying to work on. So.
Even though win-loss probably isn't where you ideally wanted to be, it seems like you still think there's a lot of positives established from the season so far.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of positives that we can take out of it, and I think particularly the win against Launceston, we sort of showed, put up 96 points, I think, which is the highest score we've had for a long time, and showed, I guess, the league that we're capable of that. The break probably came at the wrong time for us in terms of the momentum we'd started to build there, and it's just, I guess, this last stretch of the season is about winning, playing as well as we can and winning as many games as we can, and see where we land from there.
Rory stepped up in, talking about a young team, but who's impressed you?
Yeah, I think Chloe Broomhall's had a really good 3 or 4 weeks. Probably struggled early in the season just with confidence after having a really good first season last year. Her last couple of weeks has been fantastic, and while she's not putting a lot of points on the board, everything else that she's bringing to the table in terms of her rebounding and her defence is top notch. I think in the absence of Kayla, Sierra Walker and Jada Jansen have really stepped up in the import space and really provided a lot of leadership, which I guess with Kayla stepping away for that time, there's been a bit of a breach there to fill, and they've done a fantastic job of doing that. And Zoe Richards, I think, in the second half of the season has been fantastic as well, after probably struggling early on. So those three recruited players, I suppose, have really stepped up and sort of led the way for us. And we've just got to get those younger players to play with more consistency and more confidence. And I think the message for them in this last stretch of the season is just to play a little bit more fearless and just put it all out there and just see where we go, and I guess not be so concerned about the consequences if things don't work. Provided that they're sticking to the game plan and giving effort, there are no consequences in my opinion. So just throw it out there and play as hard as you can.
You know how popular the game is at the moment and has been for a few years. Do your scouts tell you, or whoever you talk to, maybe not scouts, tell you that there's going to be a real wave of talent coming through that might be sort of mid-teens now that you're going to have a chance to pick from in the coming years? Yeah,
definitely. I think we've, as you said, the popularity of the sport with the jack jumpers and everything that's happening in the state at the moment obviously gives us a greater pool of talent to pull from, particularly here in Tasmania. And I think it's in good shape in terms of when I think back to where it was when I first came into this job. You were probably scraping the barrel in terms of trying to get enough locals to put a team on the court. So now we're at a stage where there is competition for spots, and it'll be the same next year and hopefully in future years, where people are competing to play at this level, and our local competitions become stronger because of that. It's in a good space from that perspective, yeah.